During my undergraduate education, I picked up in my final semester 21 hours in the spring and 7 hours in the summer. These were senior level classes. They were very difficult. It was all the stuff that I needed, the seminars, the labs, all that sort of stuff. I took 28 hours in a semester and a half. I picked up smoking during this time, right? Yeah, I did this all for a job so that I could actually finish up in the spring. And the summer I wanted to teach, so obviously if you want to be a teacher you got to try and get in for the fall. And of course this is exactly at the same time that the economy decided to crash and teachers were being laid off and you couldn't find a job anyway. And so you come out of college and what's there for you? Well, it's back to waiting tables. And so that's what I did. So there's a big part of me that regrets that decision to say I'm just going to push through the heavy heat and get done with it. I don't regret it because I didn't get a job. I regret it because, once again in my life, I fell into the trap of thinking that I can do it all. And yet, ironically, that is so often my viewpoint. I've just run into that same thing. Here, I ran into it last year. I've run into it again this year, and I'll probably run into it again this next year. That I will overcommit myself. That I will say, Randy, you can do it. And what this does for me is it causes me to move into exhaustion. It causes me to become extremely, extremely tired. And when your body is tired and your mind is tired, your will gets tired. Your desire gets tired. Your inspiration and your motivation to do these things get tired. And you start wondering, hey, can I even do this at all? So you wake up in the mornings and you think, what's the point? Now, I'm not talking full-scale depression, though that certainly is a possibility, but just to walk to these things and say, what's the point in doing this homework? What's the point in reading this book? What's the point in having this conversation? What's the point in recording this video? Now, we live in a culture which is so fast-paced and which it's so economically driven that things are about success. It's what you can do, and it depends upon you. And you walk into jobs, and you walk into relationships, and you walk into anything, and you say, how can I save this? We got a massive savior complex in the world today, because we believe inside of ourselves that it's about what we can manage to accomplish, and if we can do it, then we've somehow managed to save the day. But that inevitably leads to failure. Because there will always be something which creeps up inside of us that says, you can't do it. There's always things outside of our control which say, hey, I'm here, and you can't do it. So, for the Christian, what does that rest mean? If you're a non-Christian, know that that rest is an invitation, right, to come to God, because it says, come to me, you who are weary and burdened, for I will give you rest. That's a very transformative and radical statement for Jesus to make, to say, you can't find that rest in material things, you can't find that rest in money, you can't find that rest in other people, and you certainly can't find that rest in yourself. Because all of these things will, at the end of the day, let you down. And Jesus says, come find that in me, because I won't. And Christ says, put on my yoke, because he leans upon the Father, he leans upon God, and trusts in him. Not my will, but yours. I don't have to overcommit myself. I don't have to think that it depends upon my successes or my failures. Come to me, you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.